What's good, y'all? And welcome back to Real Spill, where we always have the tea, and trust me, today's pot is boiling over. All right, let's take it back to the villa. Season 7 of Love Island USA gave us drama. It gave us bombshells, but more than anything, it gave us Nicolandria. They were the couple everybody and their mama was rooting for, the friends to lovers glow up that the internet preyed on. They were the undisputed challenge king and queen, and you couldn't deny the chemistry. Theirs was a situationship that the internet manifested into a whole love story, a slow burn that fans felt they personally fanned into a flame. They were the ones who were supposed to prove that love could blossom from the friend zone. But what if I told y'all that one of Season 7's sweetest couples never even wanted to be together? Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the Nicolandria hive and asking the one question that could unravel their entire love story. Was it a real-life fairy tale, or was it the most audacious, fan-serviced, producer-driven finesse in Love Island history? Because this story ain't just about two islanders, it's about a new era of reality TV where the audience is no longer just watching the show, they're helping to write it. Producers have straight up admitted they stay scrolling on social media to show the fans what they want to see. And what the fans wanted more than anything was Nicolandria. That desire created a powerful feedback loop, turning millions of us into unwitting co-producers of the very mess we were consuming. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of Nicolandria, we gotta talk about the game itself. For years, Love Island has perfected the art of produced reality. The show's defenders love to say it isn't scripted. And look, they're technically right, but as we're about to see, you don't need to script lines when you can script the circumstances. It's a clever little game. They don't write the dialogue, but they stay influencing outcomes with guided chats, reshoots for the drama, and whole scenarios manufactured out of thin air. Let's get into the evidence. First up on the docket, we're throwing it back to Season 3 and the icon herself, Olivia Atwood. Y'all remember her messy journey, but what you might not know is how deep the producer's hands were in her drama pot. According to another Islander, Tyler Carr, Olivia was made to re-dump Sam Gowland on camera, not once but twice. The reason? The first take supposedly had a mic issue, but the second was all about getting that perfect shot with enough raw emotion. That's a prime example of producers making a perfect TV moment, even if it meant putting the Islanders through it and making them look a fool for the cameras. Next up, this one had the internet detectives going crazy. During Season 9, the TikTok and Reddit FBI spotted a wine glass doing a magic trick, disappearing and reappearing in the middle of a chat with Jesse Winter. The theory? The scene was reshot hours later for better lighting. Now, while we love to clock these little production slip-ups, it's important we keep that same energy for the real lives behind the screen. After her time on the show, Jessie shared a much darker, more serious story about a terrifying drink-spiking incident while she was on vacation in Chicago. It's a heavy reminder that while we analyze the fakery of the show, these are real people navigating very real dangers. Now, this next one is a classic case of y'all ain't slick. In Season 11, fans noticed that in scenes that were supposed to be on the same day, Joey Essex and Samantha Kenny were rocking completely different outfits. The rumor mill went into overdrive, with folks claiming a flirty chat was secretly reshot a whole day later because of rain, but edited to look like one moment. While the producers never copped to it, the short and messy nature of their coupling just added fuel to the fire, proving that the viewers are always watching for the producer's fingerprints. And you know we gotta talk about the "is she for real" saga that followed Molly Mae Hague all through Season 5. Fans were convinced producers were whispering in her ear off camera that she wasn't crying enough during the dumpings, and that her big declaration to Tommy that she couldn't wait to text him on the outside felt all the way off. While Molly Mae has never said they fed her lines, the intense scrutiny shows how the producer's hand, even when you can't see it, can completely shape how we see a contestant and the legacy they leave behind. So now that we know the playbook, let's break down how they ran the plays on Nicolandria. To understand how this situationship was built, we first have to look at the relationships it was built on top of. First, you had Nick and Sierra. They were solid, cool, calm, collected. In his own words, Nick was mentally closed off with Sierra, so he was locked in. Then you had Olandria and Taylor. Sis was riding hard for her man, saying she was going so hard for him because he'd do little things like make her breakfast. She was laser focused on Taylor, which is exactly why her sudden pivot to Nick had us all giving the side eye. But this whole house of cards was ready to tumble, thanks to two key events. First, Sierra got snatched out of the villa over some old social media posts, leaving Nick suddenly and unexpectedly single. While Nick was trying to figure out his next move, Olandria was about to get hit with one of the coldest, and let's be real, funniest dumpings of the season. After weeks of her unwavering loyalty, my man Taylor curved her for bombshell Clark Caraway, a woman he had known for a grand total of 3 days. The caucasity. Olandria was heated, and we were at home screaming at the TV. With both of their original partners gone, the stage was set. During a wild Casa Amor recoupling, both Nick and Olandria were left single and supposedly dumped from the island. But were they really? Nah. In a twist that screamed producer setup, they weren't sent home. They were sent on a date and given an ultimatum. Couple up with each other or pack your bags. This wasn't fate, this was a calculated move. If you're still not convinced, don't you worry. We have the receipts. And they come from the two places that matter most. The producers inside the villa and the fans watching at home. In a bombshell report from the US Sun, 2 anonymous production sources decided to spill all the tea. And baby, it was scalding. One insider said, and I quote, "Nick and Olandria was completely staged. It was one of the fakest stuff we ever did." They went on, confirming they watch us watching them. We did read what the fans had to say. We want to show the fans what they want to see. A second source admitted the plan blew up in their faces, saying, "It was too fake and it was too obvious. They have nothing to do with each other. Everybody knows and sees that this connection would never work." And the final nail in the coffin, Nick and Olandria have very low potential for connection, and we had to work on that and make it look like something could be possible. This is a whole confession from behind the curtain. This wasn't just a fan theory, this was an alleged production strategy, and the producers were right to be scared, because the fans clocked it immediately. The backlash was swift and it was brutal. Comments flooded social media with people saying things like, "This is the fakest, cringiest episode of Love Island ever," and "This is so scripted and forced." Now, just when you think the case is closed, there's a plot twist. Because while the producers were allegedly faking it, Nick and Olandria have been doing a pretty convincing job of making it. Let's hear their side of it. In interviews after the show, Olandria's talking about there was a build-up, and she was just oblivious to my man's interest at first. She says her hesitation wasn't a lack of a spark, but guilt and respect for Sierra. Nick doubles down, talking about he was her secret admirer from day one, and that the show's editing made his pivot look way faster than it was, calling it a slow progression. They both argue that you can't fake that challenge chemistry, and that it would be too draining to put on a performance constantly. And here is their ultimate receipt, the trump card in this whole thing. As of July 2025, they are still together. They're out here meeting the families in Jacksonville and Decatur, going on dates to Disneyland with other islanders, and are reportedly doing boyfriend and girlfriend things without putting a label on it. This brings us to a wild paradox. Could a relationship that was basically arranged by producers have turned into the real deal because of that shared, unique, and let's be honest, traumatic experience? They were forced together, then had to defend their fake relationship to the whole world. They bonded over the very act of being Nicolandria. It's possible that the lie became their truth. So where does that leave us, family? Was it a producer puppet show or a real-life fairy tale? Go cast your votes and let me know what's up. But the poll is just the start. I need y'all to go off in the comments. Do you believe the insiders or the islanders? Could a fake romance accidentally become real? Drop your full dissertation below. You know I'll be in there reading. For more tea that'll have you shook, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for Real Spill. You never know whose fairy tale we're going to investigate next. See you in the comments.